All right, folks, thank you for tuning in to another Bucks of America podcast. My name is Jeff Vance. I'm the host. Tonight's episode is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be with his name's Travis Mesrel. Now, we connected through Facebook and Instagram, and it's just one of those things we just kind of add each other. And then as things popped up in our feed, we started looking at ways to connect. And the first thing was over paintball. And we're like, those who know me, I've been playing paintball since 1997. So I got a lot of years underneath my belt of playing the ins and outs of the world. I've been hunting since the 90s. I've been traveling across the country. We both have this nomadic lifestyle. And before we hit the ground running here, I wanted to go over the hat of the episode, or hat of the week, is from Toxin app. It is an app that was founded here in Wisconsin that is designed to reunite people that want to find something to do. They want to be able to put the archer and the club or the field together. So this way, if you're traveling around, if you're going from Illinois to Wisconsin or vice versa, or all the way down to Florida, it gives you an opportunity to open it up, pings off your location, and it works with what's around you and such, whether it be a 3D archery or some type of event. I know they partnered up with the HHA USA event, along with R100 and several other ones, even the BMAC games. So those of you bored on a Saturday or Sunday and you want to go shoot your bow and you want to meet some new people and not be a competition, this is a great way to do it. So Travis, it's really nice to get to actually meet you face to face, to actually hear your voice, because I can hear you're a comedian, because it's like your posts and stuff like that. When we especially get back and forth about good old Brandon and stuff like that, it's always fun to look at everything, what we have that common and such. But some of the memes you post are just absolutely hilarious. It's like I love this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I super like being business like, and I take things professional, but I love America. As we all should, and I come from a military background, and, I see all the BS that's going on in the country, and I just try to, instead of being political all the time and serious all the time, I just want to be funny and post some stuff to make people laugh and forget about all the stuff that we can't control, right? Because there's a ton of shit we can't control. So just want to have some fun, and, I try not to hurt people's feelings, but, it is what it is. You got to have a thick skin. I mean, there's stuff that I could get upset about, but I just let it roll off and just whatever,
That's the unique thing about the people that have gone through suffrage. It's like you've gone through hell and back, and it's like, I have a motto where it's the 5-second funeral. It's like, I will deal with it within 5 seconds and I'm over with, because you can't dwell on resentment or jealousy or any of that stuff, because that just eats you away. It takes away from your attitude, and it also comes down to your mindset, because what you say and what you think can become toxic to yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah. Push you in the wrong direction, or down a downward spiral.
Yeah, exactly. That's the biggest thing, especially in this day and age, with the amount of all the different foods that we eat and different things, different environments we're in, and that can get you sick. And just in that whole process, and we don't want to be that way, because it's like we live for we live for the day, to be present, and the future is a gift, and the past is our lessons. So Travis, man, why don't you tell me about you? It's like this is going to be exciting for me, because I get to learn who the man, the myth, the artist is.
Well, it's funny. Ever since I was a little kid, I knew I was going to be a graphic designer. I just always looked at logos, thought about, I don't like the way this logo looked. I would change it this way or that way. And ever since I bet you I was 8, 9, 10 years old, I just knew that's what I wanted to do. When I graduated high school, I went to a 2-year college, worked for Auto Trader in Dayton, Ohio for a couple years. And then I owned my own business for 20 years with me and my brother. Something a little different. We had a tanning salon. Me and him ran a tanning salon together. It was his idea. Still did marketing and design work and stuff on the side. And then when he wanted to get out of that, he moved to Florida. My parents moved to Florida. He moved to Florida. I stayed in Cincinnati. So then I just focused on more of my design stuff. And at the time, my oldest son started playing paintball, 15, 16. And he would tell me about the jerseys and stuff he's seen at the field. So I played on, in Illustrator, made some designs, and he's like, Dad, you got to post those on Facebook. And then it just kind of blossomed from there, and I started playing paintball and fell in love with the sport. And I've done a ton of work for Planet Eclipse. I worked for Virtue. I've worked for probably almost every major company, or have done some design aspect or work for HK Army and, companies in England, Russia, South America, South Africa. I mean, all over the world. So it's been fantastic for 7-8 years of design work in the paintball industry. Was ecstatic. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%, man. It's like I've probably seen your work, and now I actually get to see the artist behind the screen. It's some of the stuff that I've got to experience. I got to see the evolution of the auto mag and the auto cocker, and moving into the Bob Long and the angel markers and such, and then moving into Planic Eclipse and all this new evolution and stuff. And it's like you can see, but now it's interesting is that the nostalgia is coming back. I'm seeing auto cockers sell for like $1,700. It's like, come on, but there's a market for it, and I can appreciate that. And then it's going to have its peak, drop back down again. The price and the parts are going to be cheap again.
Now, I never really got to play with any of those older guns, or you know, and I appreciate the evolution. I think it's fantastic. But I think when I started playing, there was a die. I think it was a DM 7, 8, or 9. So I wasn't like that far back. So, but then I did it. I've designed, I don't know, 15 or 20 different guns for Planet Eclipse. The artwork, like for pro players or pro teams. So I mean, and my big thing is like I had 5 or 10 guns when I played. So I loved PE guns and I loved Lux. DLX, that was like, which was Smart Parts back in the day. So
yes,
those are my 2 favorites. I mean, never went wrong with either one of those, you know?
Oh man, it's like when I got behind a Lux for the first time in the year late 2000s, that thing just rips, and it's like I got to play it a couple of times because I was a umpire for Fort Adobe Paintball Complex, and it started oddly enough in the peak of the recession, and it lasted all the way up until 2017, 2018. I have no idea what may have happened, but it's 2 brothers that got together. They traveled around the country to figure out how they wanted to set up this paintball field, how to be different. They got AstroTurf, one of the first places, in that area, and so it made it one of the premier places to come play. I mean, we had people from California, Nevada, Utah come down over from even all the way from to Texas, New Mexico, and stuff. They want to come over and check it out. And it's like I was the rep for the first year, and I really set the pace for it and got the going because I was passionate about it. I was addicted to it. I got to really create that excitement and that drive for people to do it. And I still love it to this day. I'm now more of just a rep than anything else, but I'll still get out there and ball. I currently still have 9 markers. Yeah, 9 markers right now. Yeah, it's one of those things where I don't want to get rid of it because the cool thing is I can put a 5-man team together real quick.
Sure.
We can buy 2,000 rounds and last the entire day.
Yeah, I do miss playing. In my playing days, I'm not that I was pro or anything. I only played D43, but I played for a team in Cincinnati, Indianapolis, and then I played for a team out of Texas. So, and it was a great time. That's when I started working and I got out of playing because I was so busy, designing event shirts for the PSP and doing stuff for Planet Eclipse. And then Virtue asked me, hey, you want to come on? So then I would, work from them from my home. And then I would travel to the events and set up the Virtue tent and, hang out. And, it was great. Virtue was probably the funnest job I had because I was there in development when we brought Tampa Bay Damage back out. After they left from Die, we brought them back as a Virtue team and we, gave them a whole new look. So I was involved in that. And then product development, bringing pads out and, gear bags and the pods we developed. It was really cool. It was a whole.
That is pretty sweet, man. You got to appreciate all that fun stuff because now it's like people that hear this stuff, when they listen to it, they're going to gain a whole nother appreciation for the whole sport because how everything is molded from the woods ball from back in the late 80s, early 90s to what it is today. With people never would have thought it. And it's oddly enough, it's like people don't know this, that Dick Clark actually owns the rights for is it PSP or is it UPPL? I know it's one of the ones because he helped them get onto ESPN. They needed a big name to bring it there. This is at 2004, 2005 when paintball was at its I thought it was at its peak, its all-time highest. And then a few years later, then we had 2008 hit, the economy hit, and it just sent everything in the depths. And I live in Phoenix, so that place, the Southwest, just went belly up because of all the predatory loads. Now the funny thing is there's a documentary coming called The Con, and it's like. They all knew it. They did it on purpose. They created this vacuum on purpose and everything else like that, just to pad their wallets. And it's very, very diabolical, very evil. And it's like the worst part is all those board members are scotch free. They walked away.
Go figure. Money talks, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. It's kind of why I have a buddy of mine that we're going to get together. We're going to do a podcast called After Dark, and it's strictly about going over spoiler alerts. So how everything that Alex Jones was talking about, back in 2000 and 2019,
Sure.
2020. Now it's all that stuff's coming true. And the worst part is like those who got the pandemic shot are starting to come back with testing positive for syphilis. And some of them came back testing positive for AIDS. Because it's the way they spliced it in there, because they wanted to make sure that it will destroy your immune system to maintain you as a consistent customer for the rest of your life.
I'm good. I'm not getting no jab.
Yeah, that's exactly. Lord Farquaad can go suck an egg.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. I mean, I think it's our right as American citizens. I don't even get a flu shot. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
you ain't gonna make me go do something. I mean, come on, that's crazy to me. By you pushing that on us, that just tells me it's bad news.
Exactly. So with all your travels with all the paintball teams you've been with, like, what are some of the coolest guys you got to play with?
Oh man, just honestly not playing as much. I mean, I met a lot of great guys. Don't be wrong. Just being there and walking around was cool because, you know, all the players, the camaraderie is really cool. And obviously I only played D4, D3, whatever. So I wasn't really that good. I just did it for fun. I knew at the age I started playing, I wasn't going to be like my buddy Thomas Taylor, you know, or you know, Ryan Greenspan or any of them guys, you know, go pro or whatever, which is fine. That's fine. You know, I grew up in Ohio, so we BMX race and did other things. But when I started working for the industry and then I was at all events, I could meet all the players, which was super cool. You know, I met David Baines and, you know, I'd meet the teams and the coaches. I mean, like I said, Thomas Taylor is one of my best friends. I met him through paintball and he's a great dude. Love him to death. We still talk on the phone and, yeah, there's just paintball is a great sport. It's a small niche, so a lot of people stick close, you know. So,
oh yeah, I think the most fun I ever had was working with B Paxton and Greg Hastings. It was part of the St. Jude's. It was Minnesota Paintball. It was there in Lakeville, Minnesota, and there was a charity event that went on since like 2012, and I got involved with it in 2014 or so, and that took us all the way up to 2017. What it was is that they wanted to raise enough money for St. Jude's to get some nice, really good technology for heart stuff for St. Jude, and they also want to get a transport bus for the kids and stuff like that for emergency situation, like much higher end than a typical ambulance would be. And Their goal was to get $250,000, like $250K was what they needed to hit their goal, and that took 6 years to do it. I was part of it for 4, and the people that they brought into it was a lot of fun, and it was just exciting. And it's like I still remember some of the battle stories that I had. Like there was one time where I got dome rocked, and which means that for those who don't know what that means, I just got hit in the head, and it was a hard paintball, and it didn't explode, but it was hard enough to really like get you going. I went on a shooting spree. I ended up knocking out 17, 18 people before that match was over, because the way they ran it, they did matches for a certain period of time, or your point threshold was met. So this way that it just kept the gameplay moving consistently, which I appreciate with the game developers with the whole process. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I just destroyed people. And this was just the pump gun. I shoot pump guns, so it's like, and I still have some autos too as well. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I got involved with it with a buddy of mine. His name's John Logan. Now he's played D4, D3, and D2, I believe. Played for CP Parts out of Mesa, Arizona. He ran for Arizona Pump and Dump as his pump team and stuff like that. And he was kind of like the driving force to get into it. And then I got a high-end marker for that particular caliber, and just being around with that level of players, like just high-end stuff. You watch your techniques and your game just increase. And also spending a lot of time watching the DVDs back then, because YouTube really didn't have a lot of tutorials. So it's like, that's where I spent a lot of time learning how to snapshot, roll, tuck in the chicken wing, all that fun stuff, man.
Oh yeah. It was a good time.
I get bored and watch it, or I'd get my, when I had my Bob Long Intimidator, I would sit there and put on a movie, and I'd sit there and I'd have the gun in my hand, and I'd switch from both hands, playing with my left hand, my right hand, just working the trigger and getting. And the nice thing is, like, all of them had LED screens, so it's like you could find out what your ball count was. It's like hitting that 16 balls per second is a milestone, because that's a lot of paint flowing real quick.
Yeah, for sure. That's like when I played for North Texas Shockwave. I was not fast enough as some of these younger guys, so I would play the back. So they would load me up with pods, and he would tell me, he said, when you come back off the field, I want all your pods empty. So I would just come out of the break and just sit and dump. You know what I mean? Dump.
Yeah.
all day long.
That's how I was too. I was a back player too, man. That's like I would carry 1,000 rounds on me easily and such, and just launch and paint. And then the biggest thing as you can relate to is as a back player, you have to have a powerful voice to carry over all that all that whapping, you know.
Sure.
And so this way you can call it moves and stuff like that. D1, D2, D3. So this way you can get people to bump up and move and close the game. It's like it's so much fun because it's like when I used to ref and like it was a slow day and stuff, like I would just take kids out there. I'd take kids between 10 to 15 years old, and I'd pay attention to who's losing all the time. I was like, I'll grab a bunch of kids, like, hey, we're gonna play, and like we're gonna beat these guys, and just I'd be in the back, and it's like I just tell them to move, and it's like the glow on their face is what is allowed to maintain that loyalty to the field, because it's like people play for the atmosphere and the game control, and it's like, and then I left, I moved back up Midwest, but I still ref to this day.
It's a good time. Yeah, I used to play all the time at Paintball Country in Hamilton, Ohio. It was a fantastic place.
Have you ever had a chance to step foot on Pevs? They're over in Virginia, I believe, over by Norfolk. That's the Pevs Paintball has been around.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
They've been around since the 80s. And it's like, it was one of my goals to get that field and step foot on that play and such. And that was a good goal to achieve.
Yeah, I can't remember. I mean, I played PSP for 2 or 3 years. I went to Maryland and played. Can't remember that field. I'd go to Cousins in Dallas and played there all the time because I know the owner, Jed. I mean, and then Chicago, obviously played World Cup numerous times.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot of fun, you know, down in Orlando or whatever. It was at Flight of Fantasy when I played. Now it's in, I think, Kissimmee.
Okay.
The NXL. Yeah.
Yeah, because I pay attention to when it comes around and such, just to kind of see if I can watch it online or see who's going to be participating there. One of my fondest memories when Phoenix got the Phoenix Open in 2009. That was the beginning of it all, because it was we took over the University of Phoenix Stadium parking lot, because it's the only place to be able to have the amount of people do it, run 6 fields, either 4 or 6 fields consistently, and getting everybody, because it's Phoenix, it's gorgeous out. We're running in February.
Sure.
So it's like everybody was there ready to play and such. And I was part of Phoenix Mutiny. Phoenix Mutiny was our team and stuff like that. And we're just watching these guys play their hearts out and stuff like that. And they just seeing the look on their face when they knew they messed up, or the communication wasn't there and stuff. But it's still, D4 ball is still fun no matter what level you're at. That D1 though, that is insane.
It was always fun. Paintball was always fun for me. Yeah. You know, you get mad at yourself because you should have done this or that, but it's anything you do, you know. So
yeah,
it was fun though.
One of the best ones, watching them how to cheat, like at a professional level. It's like you watch those guys get hit in the regulator in the front, and watch their hand come around and wrap it to smear that paint real fast.
I've seen a lot of videos where people wipe, so they do it at all levels. I don't care what they say. I watched pro matches and seen a couple of them guys wipes. Whatever, you know, it is what it is, right?
If the ref didn't see it, it's perfectly legal and stuff like that, and that is how it's going. And like my favorite ones are when guys would tell them, like, "Hey, check me real fast," and you're running in and you got paint flying by and stuff like that. It's like, geez, I've been struck, and I don't think there's an inch in my body that hasn't been hit by a paintball. And that's including the taint too, man. It's just, you don't know fucking how that happens, but it happens.
You get drilled. So that's why I tell people, like, does it hurt? Why do you do that? I'm like, the adrenaline rush.
Oh yeah, I will take paintball over airsoft any day.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the worst. That's one of the, if you think of cheating's bad in paintball, it's like that's even worse, because it's like you can't see it marked it unless you hit them in a soft spot.
Yeah. See, I've never played airsoft never really did nothing for me. I mean, I'm not knocking it, but you know, paintball was like, if I want to play something, you know, I'm gonna go out and shoot. I want to shoot ropes. I want to see some paint flying, you know?
Oh yes, exactly. But you're gonna appreciate this story. So back in 2009, my buddy bought a CCM pump marker out of Ventura, California. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, but they are the cream of the crop pump marker.
Oh yeah.
And he was stolen out of his vehicle. Somebody busted the window, stuck it right out, and stuff like that. And that's his mistake of leaving his paintball. So I've had my shit stolen too. So I can't give him shit for that. But the heartwarming story I'm getting to is that this past weekend, people found a group of our friends that I don't talk to anymore, but we still were biggest Facebook friends, and they found it on eBay. They bought it and they gave it to him. They bought it off of that, because it's like by that time it's already changed hands a couple times. So the culprit that stole it, there's no way of linking it back to him.
No,
but
no.
he ended up getting it back this weekend. And like,
Oh, that's pretty cool.
that is pretty sweet that his friends that pitched in the money and bought it back and gave it to him.
Yeah, because CCM's not cheap.
No, it is not, especially their high quality parts. But,
Yeah.
when you look at like anybody listens to my podcast, we all have gone through starting off cheap, and then we recognize why we pay the extra money for a higher quality, whether it be a bow, an arrow, broadhead, a paintball mark, all that fun stuff. That's where I want to move into the hunting aspect of your personality. Can you tell me about your hunting experience, your story, your life?
It was funny because, like I said, growing up in Ohio, my mom and dad weren't really into fishing, hunting, or stuff like that. We lived in Cincinnati, so my uncles, they were into hunting and stuff like that. So I would go up there the weekends toward Lima, which is about 2 hours north from Cincinnati. I would stay with them, and then, they would out coon hunting and stuff. So when I was little, I'd go on coon hunts. I didn't do anything, but I was just there, and like the adrenaline rush as a little kid. And it's dark as hell outside, and the dogs are going crazy. It was insane. And then as I got a little older, my two cousins, one was younger than me, one was older than me. We were all in between like 3 or 4 years. They started shooting a bow. So my godfather, he taught me how to shoot, a bow and arrow. So, and back then it was, when you pull back, there was no let off. It was, the whole time you're pulling back, whatever, 20, 30, 40, whatever, you got it the whole time. It's not like it is now with bows. You're pulling back 60. As soon as you get back so far, you feel engaged, and you could sit and hold it all day. So, and it was fingers too. There was no, releases like there is now. But, and then, I did that for a while. I was in there, doing the whole, country style stuff with my cousins. We fished and rode 3-wheelers before the 4-wheelers. I'm an older guy, and, we'd bow hunt and stuff like that. And then as I got a little older, I just got into other things. Like I said, I raced BMX for like 10 years, and I was, I swam competitive, played football. I did a lot of stuff. My parents kept me really active in sports, which I thank God for. I mean, it was great. And then later on, I don't know, probably later in my 30s, I got back into hunting again. A friend got me into hunting again, and I just fell in love with shooting a bow again. And to me, there was nothing like shooting a bow. I mean, I've got guns and I like to gun hunt, but most of the time when it was hunting season, I wouldn't even take a gun. Even in Ohio, they're like, hey, it's gun season in November, right after Thanksgiving for a week. I'm like, I'm taking the bow, man. There's just something about being in a tree stand or in a blind and drawing back a bow. To me, it's just fantastic. So I enjoyed the hunting thing. It was great. I mean, like I said, I've not done it lately. It's been a couple years, but I've had a lot of stuff going on. Like I said, I sold my house, moved from Ohio to Florida, and had to kind of like reinvent myself a little bit, which is cool. I've always been in Florida my whole life, and I love Florida. I knew eventually one day I would be here. I love the beach, love to go in the pool and be out in the sun and stuff. So, but I know if I ever want to go pick up my bow, I mean, I can find somewhere to shoot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's plenty of places to go hunt. There's tons of outfitters, and I'm sure I could, talk to some people and, they drag me along. We go hunt. So that's always an option. That's a good thing about America. There's always super prevalent options for all kinds of stuff. So
that's pretty cool. I've had several Ohio guests on my podcast where they hunt all the way up until I have one coming up next weekend, and he shot his buck 2 days before the season ended, because now Ohio, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but Ohio now goes all the way up until January 31st. So they go all the way to the end of the month. So and he bagged it then. But the thing is, the way it's so unique is that he has to drive all the way from Maryland, drive all that windshield back and forth, and just do a power trip back and forth. Doesn't have any kids yet, so that's why he's able to do it. His wife is emotionally independent, so he's able to have that time away from her. That's the biggest thing. Like, I got lucky, and my wife lets me do whatever I want. Like, if I want to go to archery shooter, or I want to go down fishing, or go down hunting, or do something, whatever I want to do. If I'm gone for a week, 10 days, it's like she's perfectly happy. She's perfectly content because she's a self-motivator, and she'll get shit done.
Yeah. I had it lucky where I was in Ohio, because the place where we hunted we had a camper. It was only like an hour and a half away. So it was great. So, I would work all week. And then, when I would get off work, I would go to Houston Woods, which was like 10 minutes from my house, and they had a bow range. So, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I could go down there and shoot 20, 40, 60 yards just to stay in habit. And then on the weekends, I'd go down and hunt down in Brown County, Adams County down there. So it was great. So, but then, I got divorced, and then I moved down here. So, But, I still have the love for hunting. I still respect it. It's fantastic. I'd still love to do it, but, we'll see. Only time will tell, but,
Yeah, I can completely understand, because that's where I wanted to talk about later down the road here. But you shoot Athens, and until I heard about those bows, I had no idea Athens even existed, because here, like, I live like 15 minutes from Matthews, so it's Matthews, Hoyt, PSC, Bowtech, Elite, Expedition. Like my newest bow, my newest acquisition is the DLX from XBM or Expedition. And the bow behind me here is Elite. I've had that one since 2017. That's what shot that big guy back there. So and then I also have, I didn't keep the doe skull that I got, because she wasn't that impressive. So I just kind of took the meat off, went from there. But so tell me, like, how did you come across Athensville? Because it's I never even heard of them this side of the Mississippi.
My first bow I bought was a Bowtech. I don't know, like 5, 6, 7 years ago, I bought a Bowtech. Used it for a while, and like most guys that hunt, they're like, "Hey, it's a new year, I need a new bow." You know what I mean? So I was like, and I always like to be different. I don't know why. I'm just weird like that, OCD, I guess. And I just try to be different than everybody else. So I was like, you know what? Looking around bows, and at the time, that company, Athens, is from Indiana, so they were close to Ohio. So I'm like, it's not really, not that I'm making fun of any bow company by any stretch, because I think they're all fantastic companies. I would never badmouth any company, but I just it was funny. I applied to be a staff shooter for them, and I was able to do that, and I got that Revelation 7, and I'm telling you, I love that bow. I still have it. So I let my cousin shoot it. He said it was a really smooth drawback, and it just, and that's not to say I couldn't go shoot a Prime or, Matthews or anybody else, and it would be, I'm sure I could fall in love with that bow, but and it's a heavier bow, but it's really nice. I mean, it's just, after shooting it for a while, you just, like anything else, you get used to it. But I just wanted to be different. And then, of course, when people see, hey, you got an Athens bow, or hear that, like, it's not really the typical bow that you should have, or most people have, but I just got used to it. So it's like anything else, you just more use it, the better you get. And then I just stuck with it. But I mean, they're still bringing out bows out every year. So, I mean, they're doing something right.
Yeah. I saw that their new 2022s are pretty sharp looking bows. No,
Yeah.
I just, they don't have an opportunity to shoot them. So, but anyways.
The only thing different about Athens is that they're more of a, I'm not going to say a custom. I mean, they are custom. Like when I ordered mine, I picked out what color I want. I picked out what I wanted in the riser, and, I could pick color of string and all that. And some companies are getting more into that now, obviously, than they were like 5, 10 years ago. Most of the time it was like, hey, here it is. That's how you get it. And then you got to do after the fact. I know that Athens is not sold in like big box stores. A lot of big archery stores don't have them, I guess, but I think they're trying to get into the more of the archery stores, because there's a lot of small archery stores in the United States. And I think that's great. I love the little mom and pop stores. I think it's just like the restaurants. When I go out of town or go out of state, I want to find a mom and pop restaurant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So I like that too. The little small, bow stores or even gun stores, because they're going to cater to more personal to customers. And it's not just like, hey, this store's 40,000 square feet. We don't care what we sell. You know what I mean? So they want to be more inclined to help out and be more personal. So I think they're going to get there one day. I don't think they'll be as big as, and maybe they don't want to be as big as like Matthews or Prime or, Expedition or one of them, but it's a cool bow. I mean, they got a lot of cool bows. And like I said, I've shot in a couple, and I still shoot my Revelation occasionally, but yeah. So
it's kind of like why I went with Elite, because Elite's based out of New York, I believe, or is it North Carolina? No, it's New York. And the guy that sold me the bow, Ethan Ford, used to work for Powder Creek in Minnesota. Now he works for Expedition as their lead bow tech, and I ran into him again. It's like I haven't seen him in a couple of years, but I shot that one because that's the one he shot, and he sold me on it. And it's like, I like the let off on it and everything else like that. It's only 31 axle, so it's nice and small to get inside of blinds, up in a tree stand. So it's very versatile. which what I really enjoy with it. And I'm putting new strings on it. This is my third set of strings on it because I just really enjoy the bow. It's very shootable, as they like to call it, and got all decked out and stuff. And it's my old trustworthy. Now I have a 34 axle Expedition DLX, and that IBO is 350, but I shoot aluminum arrows out of it because it's mostly going to be my target bow. So now I got to be more careful because aluminum arrows are not expensive. They're not cheap to find, they're not cheap, but they're even harder to find because not Easton and most of the big companies don't make them anymore because everybody wants the carbon fiber and all that fun stuff. And I like just the way they fly and stuff like that. And it's just a solid all around arrow, but I'm looking forward to getting out there and shooting that one this upcoming year. And plus I bought it, oddly enough, it's like, even though it's a 2020 bow, it's brand new. So first owner and everything, but the unique thing about like Expedition is that they have a lifetime limited warranty on the bows. Right. So, and they're one of the very few companies actually has that. I think it's like they're trying to have great customer service, which is always a solid win for anybody. I mean, that's probably what's gonna help Athens bows get to the next level. Is that customer service, because if you keep that customer service, like I have a buddy of mine that used to work for Gander Outdoors, and he when dealing with like Kimber's customer service, it wasn't the most pleasant to deal with.
Wow. Yeah, I know Athens Archery, they really try to do really good customer service. I mean, that's kind of what sold me, because I would read stuff on Facebook, go to the Athens page, because I was like, oh, it's a local bow manufacturer. I'll do that. It doesn't really matter. I think they're got to be good. It's decent. Yeah. The price point wasn't, price point was right along as everybody else. So I was like, I'll just buy it and, what's up? We'll go from there. And then, the site and my drops, all HHA, which I love HHA. I think it's a fantastic company.
HHA up there, HHA down over here, and you can see like HHA. That's 2021. So
and I love it because they help veterans and all that, and I love that. You know what I mean? Any company that, I don't care what you do. I don't care if it's hunting, you're bottling beer. I don't care what it is. If you're helping veterans or you respect veterans, I think that's a win-win. Because I come from a military family, so I wasn't in the military, but my dad, my grandpa, my uncles, my nephew, my cousins. So to me, that's, plus. So
yeah, that's how it was with me. Like I first got introduced to HHA back in 2015, and it was a customer service, like the lifetime warranty and stuff like that. And the manager told me like what he gave me a true story, what happened with a customer of theirs and how they turned it around. So it went from there. And then in 2020, I actually got to meet Chris Ham. And then last year I got to meet Brian Ham, the brothers that own it now. And they've changed my life. My how I perceive things, how I work. It's just like who all the people I've gotten to meet is just amazing, because I would have never thought in my wildest dreams, because I originally went there to meet my buddies that run the Beast Mode Archery Challenge, where it's CrossFit with archery, but it's that next level, because you have you go through all these exercises, then you have to shoot your bow, and it's all based off of out west hunting, and it's not like tack and not like anything. It's its own challenge and stuff like that. And I just went up there to record a podcast with them, because it's like, hey, this is like, it was 4th of July, I have it off, let's go meet up. And Chris Ham happened to be there, and like we sat down and recorded a podcast and stuff like that. And I listened to all of Chris Ham's podcasts up until that point, because now he has his own podcast with HHA USA and the Honor Flight and such. And so I listened to all those that I could find, and I wanted to ask him, like, how could I be different than all the other appearances? And I asked him some pretty good questions, and our relationship is pretty cool, man. It's pretty exciting. Last year I got to break bread. I invited him to my home and smoked up some pike and some venison. And it's like, it was a really cool experience to be able to break bread with such a positive man.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Doing big things, right?
Exactly. 100%.
Yeah. Big stuff. Yeah. My favorite site. Yeah. I got the Tetra single pin.
Yeah, that's that Tetra right there. My wife's got a Tetra too as well. I haven't got a Tetra for my new bow yet. It's one step at a time. And another, like all my companies that I represent, part of the Bucks of America podcast, from Toxin to Real People Giving and the Veteran Innovative Products, they're all veteran oriented companies. real people giving. They're a coffee company. They have 2 offices, one in Maple Grove, Minnesota, and the other one's in Boston, Massachusetts. But what they do is that they have it built into their profit margin that 50% of their profits go back to helping veterans getting off the street. They have like a kind of like a halfway house type scenario where they bring them from streets to there, help them with lawyers and help them get their health in order, dental stuff, and then get them to a launching point again to get them back to a normal day-to-day and help them with child support or getting custody and stuff like that, trying to get all that stuff worked out. And Chris and Nate are just awesome, amazing people. Then Matt and Cindy from VeteranIP Products. He's a veteran. He's a self-taught aerodynamic aero engineer. He taught himself how to build aero broadheads and stuff, how they fly and stuff like that. And it's like, he's the new stuff that he has on his 22 line is great. We were supposed to be on the podcast a couple weeks ago, but due to he's been battling cancer, so it's like that took precedent. So it's like, all right, well, I'll follow with you in about a month or so. Hopefully your health, because it's like we're going to Nashville, Tennessee for the National Turkey Federation meetup there. It's like it's absolutely massive.
Sure.
From there, and then also I have my buddy John Avalos. He's ex-military or ex-police, but he's Bass Patrol Nation. He's been on the podcast, but his is all about getting people out fishing and getting poles in their hands. This way, then they can. It's something simple like that. Like my whole podcast about it. And I work for a health management company where we manage MEPs, veterans, and reserves.
Nice.
We help them through their entire career and stuff like that from start to finish. So our name is very synonymous with the military community because of our excellence, our strive to be better and stuff like that. So, and everything that's been going on and getting everybody battle ready to figure out what's all going to happen with the distraction they have going on right now in Russia. So,
yeah, don't get me started on that garbage, right?
Oh, right. Oh, it's just all distraction, because it's like when you hear about George Soros supporting Ukraine, it's like, ooh, that son of a bitch is in something. And it's like people forget, like they're known for sex trafficking. They like between 2020 or 2010 to 2015, just nothing but articles of sex trafficking coming out of there. And and some of their biggest contributors they give is the Gates Foundation and the Clinton Foundation. So, but that's for my other podcast. We don't go too in deep in that paint there.
Oh yeah, we're on the same level there, brother. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's like, especially when you get involved with the World Economic Forum, it's like what's going on. Type scenario. I love when I mix whiskey into it, I get a little spicy.
Get a little turned up.
Oh, I do. I get passionate about it. But the biggest thing is like when you start doing all the research that I have, then I can give you sources all throughout the day. But it's like if I can't, I'm not going to convince you. It's like you either have to wake up or you remain sleeping.
Correct.
So talk to me about, like, because you said in the very beginning that you've always wanted to be a graphic designer, and it's like it sounds like you and I both have the same creativity. Like this is my muse right here, being a podcast guy. A lot of the art you see is something I created or I've had collaborations with to get to where I'm at, to help me out to help pick up maintain the consistent process of it. So tell me about your journey. Like what was your pivotal moment, like when you were young and like, I'm going to be a graphic designer?
Just like I said, just being little and seeing logos and stuff. And then, like I said, when I graduated high school, went into college, got my degree in graphic design, worked at Auto Trader for a while, which was really cool. It was before the internet. So, we got to do layouts.
All the big old thick magazines and stuff like that. I remember those magazines, man.
So we would do that.
We're not that far apart.
Right.
You just have more grade than I do.
So then after that, I bounced around because unfortunately I love graphic design, but it is to me, it's one of the most saturated work fields in the world. Anybody can go to a 9-month course and be like, hey, I'm a graphic designer. I don't believe that, but hey, whatever, to each their own. I think longevity, I think if you're creative, you're creative. I mean, I don't think you can bullshit being a designer. And I'm not saying I'm the best at all, period. I think I'm pretty damn good. I mean, I think my resume speaks for itself. I mean, once I started, I don't know, like 10, 15 years ago, I started doing jersey design. And I've done it, like I said, to this day, and I still do it. Did a lot of design in the paintball industry for 7-8 years. Then I just had a couple local jobs, working production at sign companies or, T-shirts and apparel companies and stuff like that. I've always did freelance, always did logos or billboards or wraps for boats and stuff. I've done a couple boats for some Bassmaster Elite anglers. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that is pretty neat.
Yeah. Helped a lot of people start businesses. Like I said, Thomas Teller and his wife, they started a Zombie Wrecking Crew, helped them do their logos. The guy Jed that owns Cousins Paintball in Dallas, Texas, he started one because I guess the whole paintball Halloween thing a couple years ago got going really big. So he started Zombie Safari. I helped him do the branding for that. It's just a lot of really cool stuff. And then kind of got out of paintball. Not that I didn't want to do it, but I guess, you know, it runs in highs and lows where I was really hot for a while. And then it just kind of died off after I stopped playing. And, you know, other new designers come around and, you know, other things happen in small niches like that. So then I moved here and about a year before I moved to Florida. So like say 4 years ago, I wanted to get into my own brand, have my own brand of jerseys or production of jerseys. Because I did jersey designs for, you know, 5 and 10 different companies all over the world. And I would charge an art fee. But I wanted to do my own thing. Mm-hmm. So a guy that, a printing company that I know of, we started talking. And so now I've got a production team. So I started SureShot, which is my own brand.
Oh, that is your own brand. I see. I thought the SureShot was always been.
No, that's my brand.
It is mint, man. The way you have your marketing, the way the layout and stuff like that is just fucking phenomenal.
Yeah,
because it makes it look like it's been around for years. Because it's like the amount of quality has been pushed out, and like seeing all of your from computer to reality, it's just flawless. It's really good, high quality stuff.
So 4 years ago, I started SureShot, and I didn't want to be like all the other companies that do full dye sublimation. They all have a website. And they all have 5 or 10 or 20 or 30 pre-made, what I call cookie cutter designs. Well, that means you and Johnny down the street can go buy jersey number 15 off the website. Guess what? You both got the same jersey. You paid over $100 for it. You're different colors and different logos. That's not full custom. To me, that's not full custom. So if somebody emails me or goes to SureShotJerseys.com, you're going to get a full custom jersey. There's not templates on my website. All there is info, size charts, and a gallery of stuff I've done, just to give you an idea of all the different levels I can do or the different things that I can do. But I mean, whether you're playing paintball or you're an archer, you're a bowler, you throw darts, you know, I mean, you fish, we can do it. You know, that's what the beautiful thing about dye sublimation is. It's multiple colors, you know, layering of images and artwork. It's phenomenal.
Can you explain what is dye sublimation? What does that mean?
Dye sublimation. So that's like all the paintball jerseys and the archery jerseys. Those are all full dye sublimation. What that is means when they print it out flat. So you got a front print, a back print, a right sleeve, and a left sleeve.
All right.
Then they trim all that out and then they stitch it all together. So it's not like silkscreen, how they'll just pull a t-shirt across the plate and then they'll run ink across it. You know, if you got 4 colors, you got 4 screens. I love silkscreen, don't be wrong. It's a beautiful art, but the more colors you have.
I'm Jake with HHA Sports, and today we're going to talk a little bit about our dovetail sights and how they're going to fit on the new Matthews V3X. So as you'll see, I have a Tetra Max Tournament Edition sight on this 33-inch V3X. All of our dovetail sights, the Tetra and the Tetra Max, will fit on the V3X. Also, in the next couple of weeks, you'll see us come out with a shorter dovetail version. It'll just be our short bar version, which will also fit on the V3X on both the 29 and 33-inch model. One question that we've gotten pretty frequently lately is the windage adjustments on your Tetra and Tetra Max bow sights on the new Matthews bow. And this year we came out with the infinite adjust plate, which you'll see on the front end of your sight. So when
the more it's going to cost you. Dye sublimation is totally different. You know, you could have a jersey design with 4 colors. Johnny down the street could have 400 colors. Guess what? Same price. That's the beautiful thing about it. So in SureShot, like I said, I want to work one-on-one because to me, it's not about money. To me, it's quality over quantity. I'm not want to have 5 designers and have 400 designs being pumped out every week. To me, it's not about the money. It was never about the money when I started. I wanted it to be my creative outlet to where I can design because I love sitting on my iMac. I love to create stuff and get people's input. And some of my customers have no idea what they want because I always ask, I'm like, hey, do you got any design input? You got any sketches? You got any color theory ideas or colors you want to see? They'll send me their logos, and I'll just kind of, I'll create something based on way maybe their main logo looks, or maybe something they've told me that they liked. So I'll create a proof, and then we'll just go back and forth with revisions until we get, they like, hey, I like that design. We're good. I approve it. So to me, it's not about, I could have a website like all these other archery jersey companies and pump out hundreds of jerseys a week. It's not about money. You know what I mean? It's me being creative, because I think if I couldn't be creative, I'd go crazy. That's just the way I am.
That's one of the best philosophies out there, because now it's like everybody's going to have their own distinct jersey, not a cookie cutter one, and that's where it comes down. Like when I was in paintball and stuff like that, jerseys would be 120, 150 bucks, but it's like they would look similar to every other person on the field. And it's like that's why I never really got into jersey buying jerseys stuff, because it's like I always felt like granted it's like everything was the same, but I throw my logos on there, but they're all in the same places. They're not really anything distinct about them. It's like I want something that's like someone who sees me walking that field, like that's Vance right there. He's going out there and it's like somebody's getting shot in the face. Yeah.
And there was companies that didn't go wrong. I mean, I did a lot of jersey design in the paintball industry, and I worked with a lot of companies. And there are some companies that they have that motto where they're like, hey, guess what? We've got 15 designs and here you go, because we're trying to pump out a bunch of stuff and make a bunch of money. And I'm not knocking that at all. To each his own. That's a beautiful thing about life. You know what I mean? The great thing about America. You want to have a company and you want to make a ton of money doing custom jerseys, go for it. That's fine. I work full time, and the Lord's blessed me with some creative talent. I want to express that through SureShot. So that's why I started my own brand 4 years ago, just to do my own thing. So, and it was funny too, because I never planned on which way I was going to go and which niche, but 95% of my clientele is archery. Why? I have no idea, but I think it's great because I love archery anyway. And a lot of archers that I know over the last 4 years have got to know and added me on Facebook. Really great people, just like you and me. We're just down to earth, good old boys. I like to hunt, drink some beer and fish or whatever, and just have a good time. So, it's really cool. And it's neat to see how it's grown in 4 years.
That is a very good point of view. Cause it's like, I started this podcast, I'd see 10, 15 downloads, stuff like that. And it's like, I didn't get discouraged, but because I knew it's a long haul type thing. Now I'm on year 3 and I'm on track to do several hundred listens every episode now, which is like phenomenal. So now it's like, once I hit a certain threshold, it's like, then I actually like consider charging like a media package for it and stuff like that. And it's like, that's not my thing. It's like, I do this for the fun of it. And stuff like that. But then it's like, I want to help others like yourself and all the other sponsors, everybody else there. I have a lot of people that have all their own brands. They're brand new, a couple years underneath their belt. It's like, I like promoting that stuff because I'm very loyal. I've been with Veteran Innovator Products since 2015. I've not shot any other broadheads since then. And it's just because I know Matt, I know Cindy. That's just who I am, because those two I'm loyal to they're the same loyalty for me. It's like, I have that type of mentality. I think it's the Sagittarius in me. That's like, if you do me wrong, it's like, it's going to be, the apocalypse. But if you stick with me and do me right, man, it's like we're gonna be the best of buds, because I like to share and build each other's spider webs even bigger and bigger, because this way then it's like, it's all about collaboration. I tell everybody that is in the podcast world, it's not about competition, it's about collaboration, because you're gonna meet a lot more friends, you're gonna meet a lot of new people and stuff like that, and you're gonna all the doors are more open than if you're just kind of a niche kind of person.
Yeah, for sure. And I would, like I said, I would do fishing and cornhole. I've done some cornhole in the last couple of weeks. I've done some darts, and it's funny too, because Wisconsin, I don't know why, for what reason, but Wisconsin, SureShot Jerseys is super hot in Wisconsin. I've had a ton of business, and there are some of the greatest guys up there. There's one guy, he's probably purchased 3 or 4 jerseys in the last 4 years, and he tells me all the time, he'll message me like, man, this jersey you did for me 4 years ago or 3 years ago is absolutely fantastic. I wear it all the time. I will never buy from anybody else. And I think it's great. I know my design works good, but to hear that the product and the longevity of the product withholds and stands up to the test of time is pretty blessing too, So
That is a big thing because, like, for those who of us that are out there fishing several times a week, out there shooting bows several times, it's like we're not easy on our equipment. That's where it comes down to longevity. And oddly enough, here in La Crosse is where we host. I think it's the state finals for darts. Like where they bring in like something like 1,000 machines and hundreds of people shoot for over a course of a few days. We have PBR that comes through here, but then also on top of that too, it's like when you look at us in as a outdoor company world stuff, like we have Tacticam over in Caledonia, we have Nose Jammer in Winona, Minnesota, we have Matthews, we have HHA up in Wisconsin Rapids, here in West, or is it Holman or West Salem, but we have a Predator camo. So like there's a lot of stuff around this parts here. You know, we have Expedition.
Is La Crosse from Wisconsin, the boot company?
Yeah. It once was. Then Danner bought it here a decade ago or so, maybe even longer than that. But then Danner got bought up by a Chinese company, so La Crosse boots are made in China, but Danner boots are still made in Oregon.
Oh, okay.
So that is, and also PBR this is his hometown too here as well.
Oh, really?
One of its hometown. PBR is originally from Milwaukee, but the new leadership and stuff like that here, I don't know, last decade or so, they moved it out of there and been bouncing around. But yeah, Wisconsin is one of those places where we like to drink and we like to do a lot of stuff outdoors. Because
don't get me wrong, I love all my SureShot friends. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love them all. And I've done jerseys for people in France and England and Australia and Arizona and Wisconsin and Minnesota and Connecticut, all over the United States. So it's really cool. And plus, it's neat to see like large organizations. They'll every year. I've got an organization in Virginia. Every year, he for his little school or whatever, he'll place 42 every year. Boom, boom. Hey, we need 42 more jerseys. So it's really cool to see that the people are loyal, or after 1 year, they're like, hey, we're going back to this guy because we like the design, the price point, and the jersey's held up. So we're going to keep using him. So I think it's a real good thing. I love it. I think it's fantastic.
I have a friend of mine, his name's Dan Schroeder, and he does S3DA here in Wisconsin. And I went to one event. I went to Nationals last year. They had close to 75 kids out there shooting, and everybody had custom jerseys. But it's like that'd be the person that I might have to reach out to him and find out how people buy their jerseys and stuff like that. Because see, when I first saw SureShot, I thought this was somebody else you were working for and designing jerseys for. This is your baby. This is your
that's my baby. Yeah, that's my brand. Yeah, I started 4 years ago. I said, you know what? I'm really tired of. I love doing design work. So I mean, I love doing jerseys. So I was like, I'd have people contact me like, hey, I want to do this. I'm like, okay, well, what jersey manufacturer are you using? So I'm going to charge you an art fee for my design and my time, and then I'll get the template ready or the design art file ready, and I'll ship it off to, Raza if it's Paintball or HK Army or, Planet Eclipse or whoever, and then I was like, you know what? I ain't going to do this no more. I want to do my own thing. I want to create my own brand. So yeah, 4 years ago, I started SureShot. Yeah. So
man, congratulations. It's been growing for you nonstop. Yeah. Now you started a new job. What are you doing now?
I was driving trucks for 2 years, semis. I love it. It's a great time. It was not really what I wanted because I think it kind of took away from time from running SureShot. So as long as I can pay my bills, you know what I mean, and have some free time. Yeah, because I don't care. I'm not out here looking to try to be a millionaire. I don't care. That's the last worry in my life. As long as the Lord blesses me enough money to pay my bills, a little bit of time to go out and have fun, enjoy myself, and have also some time to, do other creative things like whether it's run SureShot or go out and shoot a bow and have some fun. That's what's really important to me. And the last job, I enjoyed it. I was delivering beer. I did it for a little over a year, but it's super rough. I'm 46 years old. I was delivering between 500 and 700 cases of beer a day. That's rough. Yeah, you're real sore at the end of the night, and then it takes away from your passion. So yeah, so it was rough on me. So I broke away from that, and now I am working for a dealership here in Jacksonville. Hustling cars. Yeah. So, but the salary that they offered me to come on was better than what I was making. So it's a good dealership. My buddy's been there for a long time, and it's a nice place. Everybody's super cool. It's no hassle. I mean, there's no commission. So when somebody comes in to talk about a car, I don't feel like I've got to, come on, let's go. Cause I got to get paid. So they've taken all that out of there.
That is nice because I did car sales for like 3 months, and it's like it was not for me because it was grinding, pushing for that yes. And it was all
Yeah.
commission based,
No,
and it's
yeah.
just rough, and it's like it wasn't my
Sure.
type of spiel because it's like all I'm looking at you as dollar signs, not as necessarily as a long-term customer type scenario.
Sure.
Because I was new, I was the low man in totem pole, and on top of it too, we were like the second poorest county in Iowa, so it was like pulling teeth to try to find something that's above a 600 credit score. So
Right.
there's a lot of uphill battles that it's like, this is not for me.
I mean, I know there's going to be some challenges. I mean, I've been there for like 2 weeks, but everybody I work with at the dealership is super awesome and super helpful. And I'm a people person anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
at 19 years old, I own my own business. So I've always been into sales or, talking to people and all that. And I have to talk to people when I'm selling jerseys or, working with them to create their design. So, I mean, whether it's on the phone or through email, I mean, I've always been talking to somebody. And even when I delivered beer, I was talking to people, whether it was people in the store or the managers, the customers, or the managers or the other employees at the store, or, people at my warehouse. So, I mean, talking to people is not really not in my forte or my wheelhouse. I mean, I'm not public speaking, but I don't really think I have a problem talking to people. And like I said, if they would have said that it was like commission based and, if that was the hustle, then I would have found something else. Cause I don't want to feel like I'm trying to push something over on somebody. You know what I'm saying? So,
Oh yeah, I get it.
but I mean, I want to, I generally want to help somebody get a nice vehicle, so if they need a nice vehicle or they want something new or want to make a trade in, I definitely want to help somebody out in that aspect. But it's a beautiful thing where you don't have to feel that overbearing pressure, like, okay, I got to sell 4 cars today, or I'm not going to be able to eat tonight, or, it's how it was probably 5 and 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it said that. Well, even still, some dealerships are exactly
sure.
like that. Now,
Absolutely.
Now, is Florida being able to have consistent inventory? Because I mean, I drive around here between Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Illinois. Like the inventory is slim pickings.
Oh, there's a lot of dealerships in Jacksonville. I mean, probably because of the warm weather, maybe, I guess. I don't know. Or just the population. I mean, Jacksonville's a huge city, right?
Yes, it is.
So, I mean, I know at my dealership, we have like 160 cars on the lot.
Wow. Man,
I mean,
most of the average here is like maybe 20, 25 if you're lucky.
Yeah, we have 160 and we get cars. We have cars come every day. They deliver cars every day. Or at least 2 or 3 times a week, they're bringing in a carrier with some cars.
That is impressive.
Yeah, with new inventory. But, it's tax season. So, you're selling, you're selling, quite a few a day or whatever, or a week, so I'm sure it's, in a couple months, it's going to slow down, it's not going to be tax season. It'll be vacation and wedding season and all that. So
yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, it's going to slow down a little bit. It's just like anything else, when we had the tanning salon, it was, you got peaks and valleys. It's just like any business. It's going to be really super busy, and then it's going to get slow. And just, whether you run a restaurant or, a wedding store or whatever, I'm sure that almost all businesses have them peaks and valleys.
Oh yeah, exactly. There's a restaurant in Jacksonville that my buddy took me to, and it's a barbecue place. Now I was looking up on Facebook as I added them on my Facebook page, stuff like that. But when I dig for it, the amount of meat they give you and the food you give it, it's just astronomical. It's like, I'm a big dude and I like to eat. And
Sure.
I actually came home with leftovers, but it's like 2-3 meats, like platters, stuff like that. They're granted like $17, but it's well worth the money. And their barbecue sauce they're all original and such, but it's just, once I find out, I'll DM you the website.
Yeah, let me know.
And you got to check it out because it's over kind of like the ritzy part of Jacksonville, like on the outskirts of it. I'm not sure exactly where it is. I think it's like
I know Bono's.
What's that?
I know Bono's barbecue is very big in Jacksonville.
I don't think it's that one.
Yeah.
I know it has a big old rooster in the front of it. And it's I think it's Rooster's barbecue or something like that.
It could be. I mean, Jacksonville is a very, very big. I've only been here for almost 2 years, so I've not seen every square inch of Jacksonville. So it's a very big, wide out city. So
that is so true. I like Jacksonville. It's very nicely laid out, and it's got a lot of room to grow and such. So it makes a enjoyable place to go check out. I know I have my my good friend's daughter lives out there, and her husband lives in Jacksonville. They were both ex-military. They trauma bonded over an IUD type scenario when they went over the litter box in the beginning and such, and then things went from there. And they are great people. They'll type scenario because she works for Wounded Warrior program. Because granted, like Wounded Warrior went through a rebranding issue. They had dealt with some bad actors with the organization, but now they've rebranded it. They've redone some really great work for it and actually really focused on it. And they've kind of set the leading aspect of helping veterans go through the process, especially when they're cycling out and becoming a civilian again. They do a really good job of getting them in their mindset ready to be in civilian life and getting them ready for their next stage. Because it's unique in how, like, if they don't have that type of communication with somebody to help them cycle out and get them ready for civilian life, it can be very dark. Because like I've talked to a lot of veterans on my podcast that once they got out, they hit the bottle hard. They were taking the VA cocktail, and it wasn't until like either archery, paintball, fishing, one of those type of 3 activities that got them in the sun, getting them some vitamin D, that really kind of changed their whole outlook on how they were change them from going to the grave to actually building a very illustrious career and have a following. Did a podcast with the guys from the Veteran Archery Project out of Tennessee, and a lot of those guys went through a similar process where they got introduced to archery, and that pulled them out of the gutters from being alcoholics and like saved them for it. Like, granted, we are drinking, but we have a sense of control on how we want to balance it out, because it's not going to be someone like some people. That's how they go through it, and it is traumatic.
Oh yeah. Well, I've never, like I said, I've never been in Afghanistan. I've been in the, went through some of the stuff these men and women in the military. So I have a heart for them, and I will say this till I die. I think that this nation needs to do more for our veterans. Absolutely, 100%.
You should check out Rich Graham's Full Spectrum Warrior. It's based there in Florida, and this is if you want to. He's a ex Navy SEAL. I actually had a podcast with him here a few years ago, or 2 years ago. Guy is down to earth, knows his shit, but he teaches classes, and he caps them about 5 or 8 people. He doesn't want too many. He wants to be able to address everybody's questions and provide them accurate information. He's got great staff for it, but they do long range shooting. They do topographical maps. They do navigation, water nav, all that fun stuff. And his price tag is not that unrealistic for a high level class, because they have them 1, 2, 3. 100, 200, 300 level classes, but you can do a lot of growth with the whole process, especially like if something were to happen. But luckily for us, Ukraine proves our Second Amendment is why we need it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we all, and that's our right. It's been our right for a long time, right?
Exactly. Don't break something that doesn't need to be fixed.
Yes.
That's the funny thing. It's like when we work with technology companies and stuff like that, they're always breaking things that don't need to be fixed. It's usually somebody gets in the position, they want to leave their mark, and it's like their egos destroying something that's like, why did you change this when it didn't need to be changed?
Right. Correct.
I'm Jake with HHA Sports, and today we're going to talk a little bit about our dovetail sights and how they're going to fit on the new Matthews V3X. So as you'll see, I have a Tetra Max Tournament Edition sight on this 33-inch V3X. All of our dovetail sights, the Tetra and the Tetra Max, will fit on the V3X. Also, in the next couple of weeks, you'll see us come out with a shorter dovetail version. It'll just be our short bar version, which will also fit on the V3X on both the 29 and 33-inch model. One question that we've gotten pretty frequently lately is the windage adjustments on your Tetra and Tetra Max bow sights on the new Matthews bow. And this year we came out with the infinite adjust plate, which you'll see on the front end of your sight. So when you put this infinite adjust plate on, you'll want to either flip it to the inside or the outside. And for the inline mounting sight options, such as the V3X, you're going to want to make sure that the infinite adjust plate is to the outside of your infinite adjust channel. This will allow for optimal windage adjustments. So you'll also be able to find the infinite adjust bracket on our website if you're already shooting a Tetra or Tetra Max Tournament Edition sight. Another way that you can get your HHA to fit V3X is by buying our conversion kit, which you can find on our website at hhasports.com. We'll be selling those at retail around $60. So basically the only thing you'll have to do is you'll have to take apart your sight at the third access point, and you can convert any Tetra or Tetra Max sight. So if you have a fixed frame, you can get that into a dovetail. So like mentioned before, any dovetail sight will fit a Tetra or a Tetra Max, as well as our short bar version. For more information, you can visit our website at www.hhasports.com.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely.
Man, we've talked a lot of powerful conversations, a lot of different topics here, dude. It's like, what do you have planned for this upcoming summer? Because it's like you're rolling into the gorgeous day. Well, actually, I don't. It depends on how you look at it. It's going to be either really hot for you or just perfect for you.
Oh, I'm good. Heat don't bother me. Heat does not bother me one bit. I'd rather be hot than cold. That's why I'm here and not up in Ohio in the snow.
Oh, that's
tired of it.
That's what it was for me too in Arizona. I wanted some place where I didn't have to deal with snow, and I was down there for a better part of a decade. It was great. It's like I might retire back out there again, but I won't retire in Phoenix, but I'll like retire on the Mogollon Rim or something like that, where I get a little bit of chilliness, but I'm not dealing with like feet of snow.
Right. So yeah, we're getting ready. We're getting ready to hit the good stuff. I mean, I've already spent a couple weekends at the pool and stuff. So I got a pool where I live, and we're 15 minutes from the beach. We go to the beach quite a bit. We like the group of my friends. We'll go to St. Augustine on the weekends. I love St. Augustine. St. Augustine is fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, I love history anyway, just the ruins and the forts and all that. But we like just to go down there and, run amok on St. George Street and hit all the bars and stuff and just, unwind, have a good time. But plan on doing a lot of jerseys too this year.
That's a good look on. Have you been to in Tampa there? It's what's it called? It starts the Y. It's an old Cuban type of settlement. What's it called?
I know what you're talking about.
Oh, it's where they have all the roosters running around town too, as well.
Ybor? Is that how you pronounce it?
Ybor. There we go.
Ybor. That's it. Yeah.
Ybor. Have you been
Ybor
there yet?
City. No.
Ybor City.
Well, I don't know if I've been there. When I drove a truck, I know I've touched almost every inch of Florida driving a truck. So
yeah,
been in Tampa quite a bit. So, but a lot of people say there's a lot to do as far as restaurants and bars, just to go down to Ybor City. So I would we actually were just talking about this the other day at Hooters, me and four of my buddies. We're actually going to go to Tampa for one of these weekends, just run wild in Tampa. So it's not football season, which I wish it was, because I'm going to go see my Bucks this year. We're going to go watch Tom Brady again this year. So
yeah, I heard that he resigned today.
I knew he was coming back. And then we were just talking about this at Hooters. All my buddies were like, you were right. I figured he would come back. Call it a hunch. I was hoping he'd come back. I mean, I've been a Buccaneers fan since '89, so I'm not some fair weather fan.
You're not a fair weather fan. I get
you.
No,
I could name Buck after Buck. I was there before the Super Bowl in '02, and but Derek Brooks and Mike Allstott, Warwick Dunn, they're all my favorites. Shelton Quarles, Warren Sapp.
When I was in school, man, Warren Sapp was like one of my top, like next to Randall Cunningham. Those guys, those defensive guys, those were my idols because those guys are just fucking tanks.
Yeah, so I could sit there and name hundreds of Buccaneers players. So if somebody at Hooters one day was like, "Oh, I had my Brady jersey on," he's like, "Oh, so you're a Brady fan?" I'm like, "Hang on a minute. If you want to sit here for a minute, I can give you about 100 Buccaneers." But so yeah, we're gonna go over there on the weekend. We're gonna go. That's one of our plans. Go to Ybor City, and there's a lot to do in St. Pete, Clearwater, Tampa. So yes. And I love the West Coast of Florida. So
it is really nice. I went to when I was because my company opened up a branch there in Brandon, and so I was a month paid workcation essentially because me and one of the other guys there was a few nights where we would be on the night of the town on payday. And it'd be 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. We had to be at work in 90 minutes. So it was one of those like burning both ends of the both ends of the candle there, and it was a lot of fun. But yeah, Ybor City it's a whole different standing thing, and it's like a great place to find good cigars. If you're a cigar man, oh dude,
I know. I know I want to go. But then the Cuban, food and all that. So there's a lot of history there. So I can't wait to go. I really want to go. So that is our plan we just talked about. I want to go to the Salvador Dali Museum too. So I thought
that'd be fantastic.
I love
I went
art,
to St. Augustine when I was in Jacksonville. That was really cool. Got a bunch of pictures. My buddy was taking me around through all that stuff because he lived down there for a period of time. And there's a lot of history in Florida and stuff like that. I think it's the home of the oldest city in America.
St. Augustine is the oldest
city.
Oldest city. Then that's where the Fountain of Youth is.
Oh, okay. See, I always thought it was in New Mexico because Santa Fe's an old city too as well.
Absolutely, sure.
I think Santa Fe's. I think their history goes back 700 plus years, but I think St. Augustine goes back 1,000 plus.
Yeah, St. Augustine's the oldest city in America that I, as far as I'm aware of, and I know the Fountain of Youth. Like I said, that's close to the fort down there, right off the Lions Bridge. And stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've been to the fort. It's really unique area, the amount of history and stuff like that. I almost want to go out there and just scuba dive around those wrecks just to kind of experience that.
Sure. Yeah, St. Augustine's great. So that's why I love Jacksonville because, I can get to St. Augustine in 25 minutes. I can get to Tampa in 2 or 3 hours. I can get to Tallahassee to watch my Seminoles play in 2-3 hours. So, I mean, it's fantastic. We flew to Miami last year. We went down there, me and my buddy, for the weekend. We watched the Marlins play. The flight took 45 minutes. It's fantastic.
Oh,
we were in Fort Lauderdale. We were at Hooters on the beach, and after we left here within an hour.
Oh, that isn't amazing. It's like when I lived in Phoenix, like if I want to go to Vegas, like we just look at the flights and it's like Southwest is flying $45 for a one-way ticket. Like they were there. We're there.
Yeah. So that's going to be our plan to go to Miami every year. So we got, at least one trip to Miami planned every year. So it's,
Yeah, exactly. Whereas it's like, I am not going to be a responsible adult this weekend, so do not expect me to be at a certain level.
We had a good time. Marlins, Cincinnati the Reds were in town. That's my favorite baseball team. So
Cincinnati Reds?
Yeah, I'm a Reds fan. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My mom and dad got me brainwashed to be a Reds fan ever since I was a little kid. If it wasn't on the radio, it was on the TV. So, college football and pro football, I like Florida teams, but Major League Baseball, Cincinnati Reds. So, and I got to meet Pete Rose down here.
Yes, a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, I saw it on your Instagram.
Absolutely, and I was in heaven. Charlie Hustle is my favorite ball player. Pete Rose is absolutely amazing. The only 2 Reds jerseys I got in my closet are Pete Rose. So when I seen he was signing here in Jacksonville, which actually was at a mall, which is 5 minutes from my house.
Nice.
So yeah, it was a no-brainer. So here I'll show you. I had to go get my Pete Rose.
Awesome. That is pretty cool, man. That is pretty legit, dude.
Yeah, that was off the bucket list. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of like my all-time bucket list was to meet Joe Rogan. Did that twice. Got an autograph in one instant. Then I meet Joey Diaz. I like that guy. He's kind of like the one that really kind of pushed me into doing what I'm doing today, like being the podcasting, being in the outdoor world and stuff. Like he says, like just it's a great day. It's like get out there and do it. You know what I mean? And like I'm not going to be as vulgar as he is, but God, he's hilarious. He is absolutely hilarious. Very underrated. But then I got to then now I'm going to meet Dr. Jordan Peterson in May.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
Oh yeah, I actually paid the extra money to do a meet and greet. And it's like,
okay.
Yeah,
I've seen you talking about that.
Yeah, like a lot of my stuff on my Instagram reels. I utilize a lot of his philosophies because it's like I've reached to a certain level of my personality in my life where his philosophies are lined with mine about like God and Jesus and being more than yourself, and just trying to be the next level that you could be, being the next person better. Because I look at it's like I'm only in competition with myself and nobody else, and that's
a good one.
And listening to some of his, I've listened to a lot of his podcasts. I mean, it's like if you want a PhD, like he is our Socrates, I compare him to, because it's like I've seen Dr. Gabor Mate in person, and he's a phenomenal guy too. But it's like I don't resonate with him as much as I do with Dr. Jordan Peterson. Not because it's like he does all of these publicity stunts, but it's like he's out there putting himself out there, and he stands up against it. Like listening to his hierarchy when it comes down to how totalitarianism is going to be the end of the world because of the one world order type aspect of it. And it's just like I've been listening to his podcast nonstop and trying to figure like what is a good question to ask him, but right now it's I kind of know the writing on the wall. It's like I'm trying to figure out like what is something that we should look. I want to ask him like something that we should look at as a population control or population change to be looking out for when things are start turning, like making that downward turn to the end of civilization, because the reset of the matrix is going to happen soon. Maybe in my lifetime, it may not be in my lifetime, but the matrix is going to reset soon.
Oh yeah, there's definitely some bad stuff coming. We can definitely agree with that. Correct?
Yes.
There's going to be some bad stuff coming. I mean, it's already in the works, right?
Oh yeah,
so
it's been that way since 2018 plus.
Right. So the step by step, you can almost see the writing on the wall, but a lot of people got their head in the sand. So it's like, and I'm not saying I believe in everything that's conspiracy, but I'm not stupid enough to believe that there's not a group of people that want to control certain things. You know what I mean? I mean, it happened in the 30s and the 40s, right?
Exactly.
And they say
I have a buddy of mine. We're on the same page. It's like we're talking like we're right now following the script of the 20s. And if Archduke Ferdinand, which would be Zelensky, gets assassinated by the World Economic Forum, Putin, that's going to be our start of the World War III, and then going from there. But Andrew Pike from the Masons back in he was talking about like the next one will be a religious war. So that'd be
he talked about 3 world wars, and that was back in the 20s and teens. Yeah.
No, that was the 18. It was right during. It's either before or after the Civil War, and he kind of nailed it down, like how we talked about World War I, World War II, and like the way he described it 30 years prior to, or 30 to 40 years prior to the outbreak of the World War I and World War II. It's like it was uncanny, but it's like his whole philosophy would be between Christianity, Judaism, and Muslim. And it's like, but the biggest thing will be against the Muslim and Christianity, religion fighting back and forth and such.
I couldn't remember what year, but I remember he did talk about 3 world wars way back in. So that just tells you, you know what I'm saying? That just tells you that there's some stuff that's been planned out.
There's a script we're following and we're right on schedule for it.
Yeah, for sure. So, but that's, just have to ride it out, make the best of everything, right?
That's exactly right. Buy those little shot glasses for barter and trade and ammunition. There's nothing wrong with barter and trading ammunition. You may not have a 350 Legend, but somebody might have one.
Oh yeah, I always buy ammo as much as possible. I keep buying it. So
I've even had a couple good conversations with Al Quackenbush, and we talked about reloading, and there was a 3-hour long conversation, and we barely scratched the surface. And then the next week's episode will be with Shea Butler, SBK Knives, and he's out of St. Charles, Illinois, and he makes some high-end knives. I mean, his philosophy is to make sure that these will be heirlooms, family heirlooms. That he wants to. That's his idea of each knife and stuff like that.
Collectability.
Yes, exactly.
That's cool.
And they're high quality. It's like, and he said, it's like, I'm the only one ever used one of his. Like, I have a Pursuit knife, and this is designed for EDC, and I actually used to butcher up a deer. Oh, and he's like, dude, you're the only one's ever done that. It's like, dude, it was like a glove. I mean, it worked just perfect. It was a scalpel, able to cut out the sack, cut out the hair, get right to where I need to be. I mean, it was. I couldn't. I had a longer knife I typically use for larger animals, for like a larger buck or a larger doe, because of the length of it. This one, the doe was like maybe 2.5, maybe 3.5 years old, and it didn't need it was not the right tool for the situation. And it's like, well, I really like this knife. I want to see how this performs, and it was flawless.
As long as it's sharp and gets the job done, right?
Oh yes. Oh man, it's razor sharp, dude. It is razor sharp.
That makes your job a lot easier.
Oh yeah, exactly. And the way he designs his blades are specifically to go through multiple animals without being sharpened, and that is a beautiful philosophy to have. Some companies like these throwaway knives. I'm not a fan of them. I don't think that's very wasteful. I can understand you could probably get the materials cheap enough. I get it. It's great. It's a great budget hunter, but the ones that really take their hunting seriously, they're gonna get something that's gonna be longevity, something that can pass down and go from there.
Well, and plus, if you like the feel of a knife, you're doing your thing and taking care of a couple deers every year, and you like the feel of the knife and the way it works, you're going to want to hang on to it, right? I mean, why would you want to get used to something and then get rid of it because it's garbage, and then you got to get a new knife and it's going to be a different feel and a different weight, and so Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Spend the extra money, get something that's worth a damn, and that you're going to keep around. So what? You got to resharpen it. That's all right.
Oh yeah, exactly. So now, are you going to since you're down there in Florida, you're going to take advantage of some hog hunting down there?
I want to. I would love to, because I've shot deer with a bow, shot turkey with bow. I miss turkey hunting, but there's some pretty turkeys down here. The Osceola,
dude,
yeah.
man, that and
it's a pretty turkey.
The Rio. Those are my. If I hit those, I can retire. If I shoot one of each of those, I'll retire from turkey hunting because they're just absolutely gorgeous.
Oh yeah, they're pretty. They got some pretty colors on their feathers and stuff. But yeah, so I would love to hog hunt. I've had wild hog before. It's pretty good eating, but it would be fun, just an arrow, a pig. My cousins came down here a couple times. He's from Ohio, but it's probably been a number of years, but he came down here and he had told me some stories of gator hunting. And I've seen his gators, and he's kept the cape, and it's not really a cape, but you know what I mean. He kept
I get it.
Skin, or whatever you want to call it, skin or whatever. But I think he used an AR when he did it, but I would like to arrow a gator if possible. I'm sure you can.
You can. I have a buddy of mine that's a professional taxidermist. I mean, he produces some beautiful work. He does everything from giraffes to 200 class bucks, all the way down to squirrels. Whatever you want. And so he arrowed one here. I think it was 4 years ago. Down there in Florida, arrowed one right because when they come up with the water, it's like you got to get them on the side, pretty much right into the eye socket, and get them right that way. And he arrowed it and dead on the spot. So it was either 8 or 10 foot gator, so it was still pretty big.
Yeah, so I would definitely want to do that. And actually, deer hunting's relatively cheap if you go to an outfitter down here. There's a couple outfitters that are close, and it's not super expensive, because I'm not going to just traipse out on public land down in Florida. I'm not, because we have rattlesnakes down here. You know what I mean? There's cougars, there's black bears. Oh yeah, there's even the Florida panther too as well. There's still sightings of that coming around. Yeah, I get it. Right. So I got Ohio. I didn't give a shit. I would traipse around Ohio woods all day long. I'm not worried about a bobcat or a fox or a coyote. Snakes weren't even out when I'm deer hunting because it's too damn cold. Yep. Down here, whole different animal. That's so true. Call me a sissy or whatever, but I've just never done it. Maybe after I've done it a while, then I could probably do it. But me never been out in the woods of my, down here in Florida myself, probably not just going to just start jump out and doing it. If I knew some guys I would go with, that'd be a totally different scenario. But yeah, I think it would be fun. I'm definitely not like, hey, I'm going to quit hunting altogether ever. I mean, I love hunting. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, I think it's a great thing. If we didn't hunt, think how many animals would be in all of this United States. Oh, yeah. You'd be able to drive a car. There'd be deer everywhere. And the best part is too, is like we're technically in the good old days because of our grandpas and our great grandpas through their sacrifice in the 30s, 40s, 50s, all the way up until the 90s and stuff like that. We are now officially in the good old days of hunting for turkey, for wild pig, for boar, pig, whitetail, along with coyotes, black bears, all this fun stuff. And then eventually, the biggest thing is dealing with the antis, because I've listened to a few podcasts with the Sportsman Alliance, and the way they describe it, it's like if you try to negotiate with them, they're going to take a mile. They're going to take everything possible. Like you look at California now, Arizona's trying to go after all predator hunting. So that'd be wolves, coyotes, bears, anything that has anything that eats meat. But it's no different. It's conservation. If we didn't take care of these animals and hunted, it'd be everywhere. Could you imagine trying to drive around and there's no whitetail deer hunting or blacktail hunting, deer hunting? They'd be freaking everywhere. You wouldn't be able to drive a car and be deer fucking everywhere. People, when I lived in Ohio, were hitting deer already. So could you imagine if you take out the hunting aspect altogether? It'd be ludicrous. Yep, that is the biggest thing. That is one of the biggest things that the West is dealing with right now, because now they're even trying to take lead off of public land too. And it's like you got to understand, like when the people bring these bills to thing, it's all the main target is to eliminate hunting, because they want everything. Like, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but the FDA approved CRISPR gene edited meat, GMO meat, to eat now, and that is, it's like, this is not good. This is not good at all, especially when you find out that Bill Gates is the world's largest farmer, at 269,000 acres. But also on top of that too, he owns a lot of land in Nebraska, which has some of the world's largest aquifers, spring waters and stuff like that. Because those who pay attention to the futures commodities list, water
is on the stock market.
Sure.
Why is water on the stock market?
It shouldn't be, but I don't know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's absolutely crazy. I just think it's the stupidest thing on earth. I mean, there's nothing wrong with conservation.
It's funny how politics and hunting come into play because the unique thing is you have the Republicans. They're pro-gun, but they want to get rid of public land. Then you have the left. They're pro-environment, but they want to get rid of hunting.
Right.
But then again, that all goes back to Agenda 21. So that's a whole rabbit hole there in itself. But it's very dark what's all going on. And the unique thing is I like bringing up the previous, when they brought up the Pittman-Robertson Act in the 1930s, that got passed within 90 days. We could change all the stuff we got together, but the thing is we have too many Disney fanatics that believe all bears are cuddly, wuddly, want to hug. It's like you want to talk to a business end of a bear, you'll be coming out the waste management system at the end of the conversation.
Yeah, black bears are mean.
Oh yeah, black bears are far more dangerous than grizzlies are, which is weird. It's like when you listen to like Steve Brunel or Rebby Warren, those guys like that, because these guys have all encountered them at one point in time, and it is very, very dangerous. I mean, there was an 11-year-old 2 years ago, just 15 miles from me, shot an 850-pound black bear. This bear's been roaming the earth for 30 plus years, well, plus or minus 30 years.
Sure. Now, I see black bears when I go to my mom and dad's house. They live in Central Florida,
okay,
which is about 2 hours south of me, and I'll go down by Daytona and I'll cut across. Yeah, when I go through the Ocala National Forest, occasionally I see black bears roaming around right off the highway. Yep.
Oh yeah,
they're there.
Even here too, it's like, so what here in Wisconsin, it's not uncommon for a hunter to carry a sidearm with them when they go out in the field. When I hunt here, like we have wolves, we have mountain lions, and we have like the cats. I'm not too worried about because at least with those guys, they'll go for the jugular. Dogs, wolves, and bears, they'll start from the ass and go up. It's like I want to at least be able to, if I can't survive it, I want to at least put a bullet in the brain dome here, so this way I'm not feeling start from the legs up.
I always carried a sidearm even when I hunted in Ohio. I always carried my firearm on my side, regardless. You know, I mean, I know I had a bow, but still, you know, you never know. You can find you a coyote, and if they're packed up, you know, they can get pretty brave.
Oh yes, they can. I had my wife and I were hunting here a few years ago, and we had one come within 40 yards. I watched him come in, and he saw us, and it wasn't until he recognized I saw him. I gave my wife the spotting the rangefinder, so this way then I already had an arrow nock, so it's like I'm just waiting for him to stop, and for her range I can just draw back and let it rip. Because a few years ago, my eyes were much better than they are now, but it's like now I have a 4X magnifier on my HHA sight. So this way, then I could see better because the second I put it on and I put it against one of my targets here in my basement, I could see it clear as day. It's like, man, I should have got one of these last year.
Right. Yeah. So, but I enjoy hunting. So, I don't know. We'll see. Well, I mean, I try to keep busy. I'm just a busy person. If I'm not at work, usually I'm out running with my friends. I mean, I got a great group of friends. I love them to death. We're always out doing something. And then, and then if my downtime, I'll always find time to sit here at my iMac and do design work because it's just something I love to do. I'll do it in the morning before I get up, make my breakfast, and I'll do a couple hours. And then I'll go to work, come home, do a couple more hours sometimes. And, on my Saturdays and Sundays when I'm off, I'll be over here for a couple hours, crank out some stuff, and then I'll go out and play and be a little wild, Gotta have fun.
You work hard, play hard. You never know when your last day is going to be on this earth.
Exactly. That's my point. Yeah. Not too wild, but just wild enough.
So Travis, like we've come to a good point in time, man. I'm looking forward. We'll pick this up again here in the future. But so we got SureShot.com, right? Is where people can reach out to you to customize jersey, right?
SureShot Jerseys.com.
Okay. Yep. And how else can people find you on the interwebs?
Facebook and Instagram, same thing. SureShot Jerseys. Yep, pretty much.
Perfect, guys. So there we have it. Thank you, Travis, for coming on the podcast, man. It was absolutely a blast reminiscing about the old days of playing paintball and then hunting and stuff like that, dude. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate your time.
I'm glad I finally got to meet you, brother.
Me too.
All right, man. Take care of yourself.
Thank you.